we are going to get started. So today we are going to cover something that sounds daunting, but you are going to see how easy it is to get done using our resource center, which is do newsletters. Now, before we jump directly to the screen and we create a couple of newsletters right now live on the screen, let's think about what can you do with a newsletter. Well, you can do about a million things. You can use it for mailings. You can use it as an insert in a publication. You can use it as an attachment to a mailing that you are sending about something else. If your branch office, like my office in Delray Beach, we have an excellent floor and we have a magazine rack outside. So we have a lot of publications in there, and you can add a listing flyer, but also you can add a newsletter, right? And newsletters are also the e-newsletters, the e-version of a newsletter. It's actually a pretty good thing to send by email to your sphere of influence, the people that you know, instead of just sending a very simple email saying, hey, I'm here if you need anything related to real estate. You may choose to send once a month a newsletter. Now, the newsletters that you get on the Resource Center are completely free to use for you as a Berkshire Hathaway agent, and all the material in there, you are authorized to use it. So you don't have to worry about copyright. You don't have to worry about the copyright of the images. It's all super easy to use, risk-free, and it takes you seconds. So this is just the intro. So you begin to play with some ideas on what to do, and we're going to jump directly to the screen and we're going to get it done. I like to do all these presentations live on the screen. On PowerPoint land, everything is perfect all the time. When we do things live, it's a different thing. I love to do things. I like to show you how to use the systems live. So let's jump directly to my browser. And there we are. Okay. So you guys should be seeing my browser right now. Yes, not? If you can see my browser, fantastic. I'm going to resize the screen a little bit so it doesn't interfere with the Zoom controls. All right. So in order to create your own newsletters, you are going to go to the Resource Center, vhhsresource.com. You log in into the Resource Center, and then you just click on Marketing Resource. Marketing Resource is going to land you on the home page for Marketing Resource. And remember, the Marketing Resource and the Resource Center are two separate things. The Resource Center is like a hub, and you choose what tools you're going to use from there. The Marketing Resource is one of those many tools that you have on the Resource Center. Once you land on Marketing Resource, you can, if you want, you can just type in here newsletter, or if you are sort of nerdy like I am, you can just go directly to the library. I like to start on the library because it allows me to organize my work in a systematic way. But that's just the way I like to do things. So once you are on the library, under type right here on the left, type, I want you to open that up and then pick either e-newsletter or print newsletter. Now the difference is very important. If you invest 10 minutes, 15 minutes customizing a beautiful e-newsletter and then you want to print it, guess what? You can't. You cannot print an e-newsletter. It is meant to be sent by email. A print newsletter is going to be formatted to fit on a letter size piece of paper. Yes, you can email it too, although emailing a PDF is not very friendly for a mobile device. If somebody receives an e-newsletter on the phone, you're going to be able to read it because the e-newsletter is going to adapt to the size of your phone. If you send a print newsletter by email, Well, it's a different thing because it's going to be a PDF, and whoever's reading is going to have to zoom in order to read. So print newsletters, keeping at the print. You print it and then you mail it, you put it in a magazine, you leave it in a vendor, the dry cleaners, whatever it is. And the e-newsletters, those are the ones that you want to email. So we are going to play with both types, and they're super easy. Really, trust me, this is even easier than creating a flyer, right? So first, we're going to do the e-newsletter. If I select under type e-newsletters, it's going to narrow all the results that I have only to e-newsletters. So instead of looking at 2,000 and some results, now I'm looking at 62. Yeah, so a little bit friendlier. Now, you don't have to pick the latest one. Yes, the latest one is the one for July, right? But you can browse through them, and if you find one that you like for a different date, and that's what I'm going to do just to show you how to change it. Let's say that you like the one for February 2019. You just like that one. You like the articles in it, you like the pictures better, okay? Well, you pick it, you click on Get Started, you give it a name. You always have to give it a name. And I know that on your end, it looks like we are getting started, but actually we're pretty much done. I'm going to show you how easy. So what happens with the e-newsletters is that they come good to go. All the articles are already there. There is a little verbiage up on top with your contact information and your picture and the links, the live links for your social media. So all of these are real links, links to my Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And you see that everything is marked green. That means that this is good to go right now. I can email it right now without changing anything. But if I want to change something, in this case, this is a newsletter from February 2019. Yeah, I want to change that. Okay, so you just click on the item that you want to change and just change it to July 2020. Voila, I'm done. Can I change everything else? Yes, I can change every single item on this newsletter. I can edit. So for example, on this verbiage, I could add the first name of the person that I'm sending this to. So I'll type dear space, and then I go to mail merge, and I add the first name. Now, if you are on this class right now because you received a reminder from me about an hour and a half, if you paid attention to that reminder, you're going to notice, you did notice that the reminder started with your first name. Dear Bonnie, dear Cherry, dear Marsha, yeah? Well, I didn't type 500 emails. I just did that. I put dear, and then I went to mail merge, and I added the first name. You can do this on the e-newsletter only. You cannot do it on the print newsletter, right? Then you can leave it as it is, or you can change the verbiage. And now I'm good to go again. So either you take it as it is, and you're good to go, or you do minor edits or major edits, whatever you want to do, but it's super easy. Right now, we are done with the newsletter. So I'm going to scroll down just to show you the materials. First article is about appliances, then home buyer's advice, then mortgage advice, again, mortgage advice. Now, let's say that you do not want one of these articles, okay? The last one, let's say that, okay, I don't want this last article. Look on the left of the screen. You see this? Each one of this is a section. So I can eliminate one of the articles altogether. I can re-add it. And also, I can change the order. So if I want this last article, first, all I have to do is click and drag and take it all the way to the top. You just give it a few seconds and look at this. Now my first article is not about appliances anymore. It's about co-signing a loan. Yeah. And another thing, if you would like to add something that you wrote yourself, you take a picture of yourself of the neighborhood or one of your listings, for example, you want to add it, there's nothing to it. All you have to do is just put a check mark where it says your story. And I'm going to move it all the way to the top, because if I am going to take the time to write an article, I want it to be all the way to the top. And now this right here can become your article. So for example, the section header is look at my awesome listing. And then I can just type whatever I want to type in here. For example, the same thing that you already have on the MLS under remarks. You can expand it a little bit, but you can just copy and paste what you have in remarks. And then on the picture, upload a picture of the listing. Just as simple as that. And this is another feature that's pretty cool. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you upload a picture and then you can add a link. So a link to your website, for example, or a link to the dedicated web page that all of Berkshire Hathaway listings have. You can just put the link right here with the picture. And when you save it and you send it to your sphere of influence, to your contacts, if somebody clicks on the picture, they're going to land on the website that you enter on that field. How cool is that, right? But remember, all we did was just pick a newsletter. And once we opened the newsletter for editing, it was good to go. In this case, I picked a newsletter from February of 2019, so I wanted to change the date. And I'm showing you that you can add your own article in here. Now, while you are waiting to finish, when you have yellow fields, you cannot do anything. So I'm going to eliminate this. I'm not going to type a whole article while we're talking about it. And you're going to notice that when everything is green, you have all the tools to share this e-newsletter right here. The envelope means send by email. The link will create a dedicated link for this newsletter alone, and then you can do whatever you want with it. The F will post it directly to your Facebook page. That one with the little bird will post it to Twitter, and this one will post it to LinkedIn. If you want to post it somewhere else, what you're going to do is just use the link. And if you want to email it, well, you have already seen this process before, but I'm going to show you again super quick. You click on the envelope, and of all the options that you have in here, just click where it says add from address book. Remember that one, add from address book. That is the one that you want. So you pick add from address book, you're going to land on your address book, and then either you send it to individuals, or if you have your contacts grouped like I do, then you can just say, okay, I'm going to send this to the Boca office roster, Delray roster. Obviously, your groups are going to have different names. For example, past clients, past sellers, past buyers, prospective buyers, sphere of influence, personal friends, colleagues, etc., etc. You can pick your audience if you have your contacts grouped, right? I am not going to send this dummy newsletter to anybody, but this is the whole process. Once you select a group, you click on Add Selected, and then you can decide whether to send right now or to schedule it. And the schedule feature is pretty cool because let's imagine that you find some time. There's some downtime and you have 2-3 hours on a Wednesday, right? What you can do is to create and set up the newsletters for the next 6 months. And then you schedule them, right? So you can schedule, okay, I'm going to send this on August the 1st at whatever time you decide. I'm going to send this August the 1st at 10:30 in the morning, right? Pretty cool feature. So in 2-3 hours, you can schedule the newsletters for the whole year if you want, right? You don't have to remember and go every month and do it. You can just get it all done at once. I am going to show you the process now for the print newsletter, but probably you're suspecting that it's going to be identical to this and even simpler because a print newsletter is just meant for printing. So there's none of this going to contacts and adding the groups. It just creates a flyer. So let's jump to that. I'm going to go now to, instead of e-newsletter, I'm going to choose print newsletter. See how intuitive this whole thing is, how easy. There's really nothing complicated about the whole process. So I'm just going to pick one of them. In this case, I'm just going to pick the latest one, July 2020. Get started. You give it a name. And look at that. Just like before, just with the e-newsletter, this one is also good to go. So I could just print it right now, or I could edit that one. Now you see that it looks like a page? It looks like a page because it's going to be formatted for a page to be printed, yeah? Can you email it? Yes. Can you post it on social media? Sure, no problem. You can do that too. If you want to do that, no problem whatsoever. Just remember one thing. When you email a PDF, it is not going to adapt to the screen of the person that's receiving it. So if I receive I don't have any pages right here that I can put, there you go. If I receive a document of this size and I'm trying to see it on a device of this size, I'm going to have to shrink it until the font is tiny. And if I want to read it, I'm going to have to expand it. And that's why it's much better to pick an e-newsletter if you're going to email it. Now, if I am happy with the flyer, with the e-newsletter, all I have to do is to click on this button. Remember what this button looks like. This is the icon for Adobe Reader. This button right here is going to turn your e-newsletter into a printable PDF. So you're going to click on this one. You wait a few seconds. And it just downloads it to your computer. You're good to go. I'm going to open this. This is the newsletter I just created. I created all this while talking and telling you all the possible alternatives. Imagine how fast would it be if you're just doing this on your computer on your own time. It's like, okay, I'm going to click in here and I'm done. I'm going to show you how fast it is if you don't go through every single step. Pick. Give it a name. If you're not going to customize anything, then just click on the icon for Adobe Reader and it is about to download it. It took me all of, I think, about 12 seconds. Pretty cool, right? So now I am going to open the floor for questions. Okay, you guys, if you want to unmute, all you have to do is to hold the space bar, but everybody has the ability to unmute themselves. Do we have any questions? Any comments? I can hear you. Do you have to hold your space bar?
Sorry.
Perfect.
Are we able to use a separate like Excel spreadsheet that has our contacts in it, or does it have to be loaded on the system?
You could. It's complicated. I mean, you're complicating your life if you do that, but you can, because you can create the e-card, and once you create the e-card, you just send it to yourself, only to yourself. And from then on, then you can email it to somebody else. What happens if you do that is if you first you lose your ability to mail merge at least easily. You can mail merge with Excel, but it's sort of a headache. And the other thing is that you really cannot track who is looking at your emails and who's not looking at your emails. You cannot see easily if the person unsubscribed, right? Yes, because you're just forwarding an email that was sent to you. And I didn't show that, but on Marketing Resource, when you go to context, you get a very, very cool detail of who read your email, who did not read your email, who clicked on your email. Yeah. Even when you post it to social media, it tells you, okay, on social media, you have so many people that look at your post and so many people click on it. So it gives you, this is actionable intelligence. With that information, then you can take action, right? But yes, if you just don't want to mail it from the resource center, if you want to mail it from your own email, yes, you can just create the e-newsletter, send it to yourself, and then you can forward it from your email to whoever you want to. Does that answer your question? Awesome. Any